I was just some bleached blonde punk and I stabbed a mob boss over 20 times. Everyone thought I'd get arrested and sentenced to death. But there I was at the station, sipping tea and teaching the cops about the law. In the end, I was released without charge and strutted right out. Because I'd been transported to this world with mastery over every skill. Every one of those 20 stabs missed his vital organs. Not one was fatal. Plus, before coming here, I was an elite lawyer who knew the law inside out. And just like that, a law-abiding but insanely cocky punk was born. Right now, I was stabbing the mob boss like crazy while screaming for help. My screams were even louder than the mob boss's. Without seeing the scene, anyone would have thought I was the victim. By then, the thugs behind him were completely dumbfounded. 2 questions echoed through all their minds. Who does this guy work for? He's an absolute beast. And why is our boss as hard to stab as a hog at slaughter? He's been stabbed dozens of times and he's still howling. After landing exactly 20 stabs, I finally stopped. A muscular thug with full-sleeve tattoos swallowed hard. "Hey bro, calm down!" When I said nothing, the tattooed thug quickly retreated behind the others. He pulled out his phone and frantically dialed 3 numbers. "Hello, Fengcheng Police Department. What's your emergency?" "Help! Someone's being murdered!" The operator had barely finished when the thug's booming voice rang out. But right after saying it, he looked at me and lowered his voice. "There's a psycho killing someone over here." "A murder? What's your current location?" "Please describe the suspect." 769 Hepping Street. "His description?" The tattooed thug instinctively looked up at me, and I smiled back at him. The second our eyes met, he wished his toes could turn into an excavator. That way, he could dig himself a hole to hide in. He quickly hunched down and whispered, "He's got bleached blonde hair and a small wolf fang pendant around his neck. He kind of looks like a celebrity." "Oh, I remember. That celebrity who said he'd been run over by a tank." "Stop asking questions and come save us. Please stay calm. Officers have already been dispatched. Please remain on the line with us. Hey, are you done calling the cops?" The whole place went silent for a second. All the thugs instantly took a huge step back, leaving the tattooed thug standing alone at the very front. "Boss, don't come any closer. Please spare me. I still have to take my grandpa to kindergarten later." Judging by their reaction, one more step and they'd all run for their lives. I sighed and sat down beside the mob boss. Only after I sat down did everyone finally relax. The tattooed thug gathered the others and hurriedly discussed what to do. "Our boss isn't moving. You think he's dead?" "Shut your damn mouth!" He glared at his underling and was about to speak. But then he caught sight of his boss lying on the ground again. After struggling for a while, he finally muttered, "I already called the cops. Whether the boss lives or dies is up to fate." Meanwhile, at the Fengcheng Police Department, a female officer began assigning the mission. A stabbing in broad daylight. Fengcheng hasn't seen a case this vicious in years. "Contact SWAT for backup immediately. Everyone gear up and follow me." "Yes, ma'am." Soon, police cars with red and blue lights raced toward the scene. Only after getting in the car did Xiao Wanbai ease up slightly. She narrowed her eyes at a reporter waiting nearby. Then she closed her eyes and sighed. "There's a reporter here. This is going to be a headache." Meanwhile, outside the police station, "Mom, bless me! I finally found a huge story!" Intern reporter Lin Xiaoxiao had been waiting there for hours. A friend had called and said a major violent crime happened downtown. Judging by the police response, this could easily make national headlines. She rented a shared bike, then immediately followed them. After arriving, she used her press ID to get permission to enter. The moment she reached the scene, the sight shocked her. A blood-covered man lay on the ground, his condition unknown, and beside him stood a young man holding a knife. "Wow, he's so handsome!" The second she saw me, hearts practically appeared in Lin Xiaoxiao's eyes. Only when the shouting started did she remember why she was there. At that moment, a female officer charged straight at me. Click! A flash went off as Lin Xiaoxiao captured the moment. Looking at the photo, Lin Xiaoxiao suddenly seemed confused. It looked like the guy smiled the moment he was taken down. But Xiao Wanbai didn't have time to notice my expression. Once I was restrained, several male officers rushed over to take her place. The crowd was also pushed back behind the police tape. Xiao Wanbai pointed at the thugs and said, "You guys, come over here and explain what happened." "Officer, listen. That guy was terrifying. You know how guys like us only pretend to be tough when we fight. But that psycho was really stabbing him!" Dozens of times without even blinking. I wonder if his eyes ever get dry. As they all talked over one another, Xiao Wanbai pieced together what happened. After hearing the story, she rubbed her brow and ordered, "Have the ambulance take the injured man. Bring everyone else in for questioning." "Yes, ma'am!" As she spoke, the officers pulled me up with my back still facing her. The moment our eyes met, her expression turned serious. "You again?" Only then did I learn the truth about this body's original owner. He was a repeat offender who treated trips to the station like a daily routine. "Huh? Do we know each other?" "Stop playing dumb. That stupid grin won't help you. There are countless honest jobs out there, and you've got the looks for them. You could even make a living doing food streams. But you chose to become a gangster. This time you're completely finished. My preliminary judgment is that you'll spend the rest of your life behind bars." But before I could say anything else, the mob boss who'd been stabbed 20 times suddenly panicked. He quickly sat straight up from the ground, then looked around helplessly. "Hey, I'm not dead yet. Ladies and gentlemen, could someone please save me first?" Hearing him yell behind me, I couldn't hold back my laughter. I already knew the guy was only lightly hurt. "Officer, you know how it is. I've had professional training. I don't usually laugh." "Then what are you doing now?" I just remembered something funny. Half an hour later, I was sitting in an interrogation room looking completely innocent. Across from me, Xiao Wanbai was pacing back and forth. Even as she paced, she kept studying me. That look clearly said she thought I was a murderer. "What's with that look?" Come on, I acted in self-defense. I'm a law-abiding citizen. Even if you're the prettiest cop here, you can't frame an innocent man. Sure, this was a police station, but I used to be a lawyer. I'd argued plenty of cases in places like this, so I wasn't intimidated at all. Article 182 of the legal code clearly states, I was being unlawfully attacked at the time, so I had the right to defend myself. After hearing my whole argument, Xiao Wanbai remained silent. But when I delivered that last line, she finally snapped. Very well, clearly you don't realize what you did wrong. You killed someone, do you understand? I don't understand how you could attack someone that brutally. Do you really want to spend the rest of your life behind bars? I suggest you tell us exactly what happened. We already confirmed there were security cameras nearby. Once we get the footage, it'll be too late to confess. Xiao Wanbai didn't raise her voice, but every word hit hard. All I could do was smile bitterly. Officer, I can actually give you some evidence. What? Xiao Wanbai suddenly looked up, surprise flashing in her eyes. Most people fear that more evidence means a harsher sentence. But Subai was volunteering evidence himself. Xiao Wanbai thought for a moment, then wrote a note in the record. The suspect voluntarily confessed. A reduced sentence may be considered. They were beating me earlier. Their leader was even recording it on his phone. I couldn't take it anymore. I ran until they cornered me against a wall. The video on his phone should be pretty convincing, right? I was actually the one being chased and beaten. After saying that, I instinctively pushed up my glasses. Except I wasn't wearing any. It was just a habit from my past life. Xiao Wanbai saw me push up an imaginary pair of glasses. It made me look pretty pretentious. Xiao Wanbai glanced at me and stopped talking. But as the minutes passed, my calm expression gradually turned uneasy. It had been so long, yet I'd heard nothing about the gang leader's condition. My system wasn't screwing me over again, was it? Seeing my troubled expression, Xiao Wanbai assumed I finally regretted it. Isn't it a little late for regrets now? The man has already been taken to the hospital. According to my colleague, he's still conscious. He might survive, but he's definitely seriously injured. Under the law, you're looking at least 10 years. Thank goodness. Hearing that, I breathed a sigh of relief. Have you thought of anything you'd like to confess? Xiao Wanbai still hadn't noticed that my expression had completely changed. Yeah, there's something I need to say. I shrugged, a playful glint hidden in my eyes. I need a cup of tea. Pu'er would be best. Biluochin works too. Make sure you use spring water. Tap water makes my teeth hurt. Bang! With a loud crash, Xiao Wanbai shot to her feet. You really won't cry until you're staring at your own coffin. Just then, an officer opened the door and walked up beside her. Captain, we pulled the security footage from the scene. There wasn't a trace of nervousness in my eyes. Xiao Wanbai said nothing more and quietly sighed. As she left, she gave me one last glance. You just lost your last chance. In the conference room next door, Xiao Wanbai picked up a cup. She brewed herself a full cup of green tea. When she realized what she'd done, something suddenly occurred to her. Xiao Wanbai silently swore. She absolutely had not done this because of that jerk Subai. This cup of green tea had nothing to do with him. She took a small sip of the bitter tea. Play it. The beginning of the video was roughly what she'd expected. Several thugs were chasing after me, but what happened next completely shattered her expectations. One of them approached me with a knife. I screamed for help while repeatedly stabbing him. It was like my brain and body were running on separate systems. This kid really was acting in self-defense. Xiao Wanbai was stunned. Still, his behavior was pretty terrifying. Based on her experience, Xiao Wanbai quickly reached a conclusion. My life was in danger, so I had been forced to fight back, and I kept attacking only because I was terrified. Everything was perfect, like a textbook self-defense case, except the consequences were severe. The injured man was probably still in surgery. As Xiao Wanbai considered everything she'd seen, a co-worker beside her sighed in relief and said, based on the footage, Subai acted in self-defense. But the fact is he stabbed the guy over 20 times. If the victim dies, he could be charged with excessive self-defense. Maybe even negligent homicide. The debate in the conference room slowly died down. Xiao Wanbai frowned and returned to the interrogation room. She set a cup of tea beside my hand. I picked it up and took a small sip. This is way too weak. You're seriously complaining? Xiao Wanbai knitted her brows. I leaned back and said teasingly, since you brought me tea, go ahead and ask. I'm tired, let's wrap this up so I can sleep. Oh, really? Then let me ask you this. According to the footage, you only fought back after he attacked. But there's something I don't understand. How were you yelling for help while effortlessly dodging every attack? And you still managed to land stab after stab? No normal person could do that, right? That's something only a robot could pull off. After thinking, I folded my hands over my stomach and started acting. Maybe I'm just that one-in-a-million martial arts master. Clearly you're not. Listen, Subai, what you did does count as self-defense. But excessive self-defense can still land you in prison. So can negligent homicide. We're talking over 20 stab wounds. Sorry, let me correct you, it was exactly 20. Before Xiao Wanbai could finish, I raised my arm, then held up 2 fingers. Hearing that, Xiao Wanbai almost laughed from sheer anger. Before she could speak, I slowly continued. I may have stabbed him 20 times, but the law doesn't care about the number. By legal standards, he suffered minor injuries at most. Do minor injuries count as excessive self-defense? Officer, do you think guys from the streets don't know the law? The world had truly gone insane. Even gangsters were lecturing cops about the law now. Xiao Wanbai almost laughed from anger again. 20 stab wounds and minor injuries, how could those go together? Do you think you're some top surgeon performing an operation? You're barely literate, yet you claim to know medicine? Ridiculous. But I remained completely calm. Maybe I really do. How about this, want to make a bet? After thinking, I pointed at the tea. If I win, let me try the best tea at your station. Seeing my expression, Xiao Wanbai started doubting herself. But she had also seen the victim's injuries. In her eyes, there was no way he would survive the night. His final screams and wails were the clearest proof. How could a seriously injured person still have the strength to scream? Since he could still yell, it had to be his final burst of energy. Xiao Wanbai raised an eyebrow and was about to speak. Suddenly, a call from the hospital came in. Xiao Wanbai flinched and quickly put the call on speaker. Hello, how is he? The other end went silent for a moment. Then the sound of a family member crying came through. Xiao Wanbai thought she already knew the outcome, but hearing that a life was gone still made her expression turn grave. She looked at me again. The beautiful officer's eyes were filled with hostility. I was stunned too. Wait, I remember his injuries being minor. Did I stab the wrong spots? Just as I started wondering, another voice came through Xiao Wanbai's phone. Captain Xiao! I'm here. Handle the aftermath properly. The department can approve any hospital expenses up front. What aftermath? The officer on the other end suddenly sounded confused. The victim's aftermath, of course. Huh? I already handled it. It cost 2,300 total. How much? Hearing that amount, Xiao Wanbai looked completely lost. Would 2,300 even cover the funeral home? Before she could figure it out, the officer chuckled awkwardly. Captain Xiao, you're amazing. Actually, it wasn't 2,300. It was only 2,100. The other 200 was for boxed lunches because we got hungry. Someone died and you handled everything for just over 2 grand? Now the officer on the other end was stunned too. Who died? Xiao Wanbai finally realized something was wrong and quickly asked, what exactly is the victim's condition? The officer on the other end sounded completely relaxed. Don't worry, Captain Xiao. The hospital's preliminary report says they're only minor injuries. The guy's still screaming his head off. As he spoke, the officer seemed to move the phone away. He wanted Xiao Wanbai to hear for herself. Powerful wailing could be heard faintly in the background. He just stabbed me right here. Ah, here, and here too. He used me like a pincushion. Even the usually composed Xiao Wanbai lost her cool. They really are minor injuries? She pursed her lips and couldn't help glancing at me. No wonder I had looked completely unconcerned. Just then, the officer on the phone spoke again. Captain Xiao, pretty shocked, huh? Honestly, we've still got a bunch of guys stationed here. When they heard the news, they totally freaked out. 20 stabs and everyone missed a vital spot. The guy on the phone kept rambling on, but Xiao Wanbai had already lost interest. Still in disbelief, she looked up, only to see me shrug helplessly. Xiao Wanbai hung up the phone. She still looked completely lost. Meanwhile, I looked like a total boss. Want me to break it down for you? At the time, he was violating my rights. And here's the key detail. I stopped while he could still fight back. Honestly, 20 stabs wasn't even my limit. And now he only has minor injuries. All I did was stop him from hurting me. That sounds like textbook self-defense, right? I've made my case. Your Honor, please rule. Xiao Wanbai looked visibly confused. I gave an awkward smile. Sorry, habit from my past life. The room went silent for a moment. The officers were completely stunned. They all had the same question. Dude, aren't you just some blonde punk? How do you know the law better than us? Xiao Wanbai slowly paced around the room. Then she leaned close and whispered, why do you seem different from the punk I met before? That caught me off guard. I didn't expect her instincts to be so sharp. Who else would I be? Maybe I worked hard and got a law license recently. The second I said it, even I didn't buy that crap. Sure enough, her face screamed, yeah, right! So I quickly changed the subject. We made a bet, remember? You lost. Now hurry up and bring me some tea. Xiao Wanbai frowned and gave a little snort. She wasn't happy, but she still walked out. Soon, the hospital confirmed only minor injuries. Staring at the report, Xiao Wanbai questioned reality. So this kid really does know medicine. Meanwhile, reporters had camped outside the station. Lin Xiaoxiao was among them. Her exclusive scoop had gone viral online. She even earned praise from her editor. Outside the station, she started her usual live stream. The comments kept flooding in. Was he sentenced? Was he sentenced? That guy's definitely getting death. Over 20 stabs, even an animal couldn't survive. Lin Xiaoxiao couldn't give them a definite answer. But deep down, she agreed with the comments. She thought about the handsome guy from yesterday. She sighed. What a shame. Just then, the crowd suddenly stirred. She quickly aimed the camera at the entrance. There stood a man holding a cup of tea. He casually strolled out of the police station. Without a care, he raised a hand to block the sun. He looked so relaxed, he might as well nap outside. Then she finally recognized him. Lin Xiaoxiao froze. Wait, that's him! Lin Xiaoxiao completely panicked. She came here to cover a murder case. She didn't sign up to face a murderer in person. For 3 grand a month, this job wasn't worth dying for. That's right, I'd just been publicly released. The livestream comments instantly exploded. That's the psycho from yesterday. Holy crap, they let him go! This guy must have some serious connections. Everyone was stunned. Just then, I noticed Lin Xiaoxiao staring blankly. I smiled at her. But to Lin Xiaoxiao, that smile looked terrifying. It looked like a serial killer's twisted grin. She got so scared she dropped her microphone. I walked over and bent down to pick it up. Are you okay? Lin Xiaoxiao swallowed and stiffly took the mic. By the time she recovered, I'd already strolled away. After a long pause, she finally snapped out of it. Wow, that guy's actually kind of a gentleman. Meanwhile, at Fengcheng's Oriental Fortune Tower, Chen Ahu, my body's former gang boss, stared at my photo. I can't believe it, Xiao Bai. We'll soon be worlds apart. A group of Tiger Gang members stood nearby. Seeing this, they quickly covered their ears. The next second, Chen Ahu started wailing. Xiaobai! I've lived a violent life and never believed in ghosts. But losing you is the one thing I can't bear. I hope we're brothers again in our next lives. He sighed and polished the memorial tablet he'd bought me. Seeing this, one of his lackeys slowly walked over. Boss, Brother Bai hasn't even been sentenced yet. Isn't it too early to buy his memorial tablet? Smack! A sharp slap rang out. The lackey clutched his head. Chen Ahu pointed at his phone with total confidence. You don't know crap! I looked it up. Xiaobai's definitely getting executed. Yesterday, the funeral home had memorial tablets on sale. I figured he'd need one anyway, so I grabbed it. With that, Chen Ahu let out another sigh. Seeing their boss like this, the guys nearby started talking. It's a shame. Brother Bai was a beast, chasing down over 10 guys by himself. And now he ended up like this. We should all learn from what happened to him. Never go all out like that. Remembering how fearless I was, everyone sighed again. Someone lit a cigarette. Before long, the Tiger Gang clubhouse was filled with smoke. But no one noticed. I was standing at the door, eating a breakfast crepe. After listening for a while, I sighed along with them, still completely confused. Man, that Bai guy is really miserable. He did so much for the gang, only to end up like this. Tell me about it. Chen Ahu slapped his thigh and turned around like he'd found a kindred spirit. The next second, his eyes widened. He looked like he was still sitting there, but his soul had already left his body. The guys sensed something was wrong and rushed over to Chen Ahu. They pinched under his nose and stomped on his crotch. It took them forever to bring him back to his senses. Clutching his crotch, Chen Ahu's forehead veins were bulging. He stared at me, too scared to say a word. When he saw the guys getting ready to do it again, afraid they'd crush his balls, he quickly pointed in front of him. Everyone followed his finger and looked over. The room, packed with over 100 people, fell silent. I looked around in confusion, then pointed at myself. Wait, is this Bai guy you're talking about me? The moment I tried to speak, everyone stepped back together. Chen Ahu, who had been hiding in the back, got shoved to the front. Is this how you treat your boss? He forced himself to give me an incredibly stiff smile. But I still had food in my mouth, so I didn't answer. To Chen Ahu, that only made me look even more terrifying. Without saying a word, he slowly headed for the door. As he passed me, he kept that stiff smile on his face. Brother Bai, excuse me. Everyone started screaming and rushed toward the door, but I simply stood up straight and blocked them all inside. With me blocking the exit, Chen Ahu had no choice but to approach me. He was even holding my memorial tablet. Look, I swear I'll avenge you. We're brothers, so you won't come after me, right? Boss who? Didn't you say you don't believe in ghosts? Besides, this thing looks terribly made. I took the tablet, looked at it in disgust, and tossed it aside. Brother Bai! Please have mercy on us! Whatever you need, just tell me in a dream. We'll burn it all as an offering. Isn't that enough? Even after hearing me speak, Chen Ahu was still in denial. I had no choice but to frown and hand him my half-eaten crepe. Boss Hu, you don't have to believe me, but you have to believe this crepe, right? Touch it, it's still warm. By then, the smoke in the room had begun to clear. Feeling the warm crepe, Chen Ahu started to hesitate. Bai, are you really alive? Of course I'm alive. I just went to the police station for a chat. Meanwhile, you guys told the whole world I was dead. Chen Ahu didn't answer right away. He checked my pulse and only stood tall again after confirming I was alive. Bai, your connections must be insane. You killed someone and got out the next morning. Before I could respond, the guys in the back started talking too. I always heard Brother Bai had powerful connections. Looks like he finally decided to use them. The Tiger Gang is about to hit the jackpot. Listening to them, I was completely speechless. The rumors were getting more ridiculous by the second. I cleared my throat and everyone instantly went silent. They all stared at me waiting for my speech. Couldn't I have used my legal knowledge to convince the police? And walked out of the station completely justified? After I said that, the guys just stared at each other in confusion. Chen Ahu placed his huge hand on my forehead. You don't have a fever. Bae, what kind of weird nonsense are you talking about? Their reaction left me speechless. But then I remembered I was the most educated person here. The original Bai had at least attended vocational school. The rest of them had barely made it past second grade. They had all somehow escaped compulsory education. I sighed and decided to be honest. Boss Hu, we grew up together. Wouldn't you know if I had powerful connections? Sure, that guy got stabbed 20 times. But I know medicine, so his injuries were only minor. Now do you understand? Legally speaking, it was self-defense. Got it? I rambled on and on. But the guys below still looked completely lost. At this point, explaining everything clearly seemed impossible. I snatched my pancake back and took a huge bite. Fine. Since you guys are so smart, I'll be straight with you. You guys know Captain Xiao, right? Xiao Wanbai, the legendary captain of the Criminal Investigation Unit. Captain Xiao and I are pretty close. You get it now? Now you're getting it! Hearing that answer, Chen Ahu finally looked satisfied. That's Brother Bai for you. Everyone immediately lit up with excitement. When I saw Chen Ahu was about to say more, I pulled him aside and whispered, Forget about that, let's talk business. I even borrowed money from Captain Xiao to buy this pancake. You know, she did us a huge favor this time. Give me 100,000 yuan so I can repay the favor. 100,000? Chen Ahu's eyes somehow opened even wider than before. I quickly covered his huge mouth. Keep it down, it's only 100,000! The mighty Tiger Gang is loaded. What's 100,000 to us? Bai, it's not that I don't want to give it to you, it's just... Chen Ahu stammered for ages but couldn't get another word out. So he started telling me his troubles. The Azure Dragon Gang challenged us to a fight 2 days ago. We lost and had to pay them 3,000 wen. Last week, Old Lee got food poisoning, so the gang paid 2,000 wen. And last month, Gajeta and I got arrested for gambling. Bail cost us 5,700 yuan. Then yesterday the landlord said he'd kick us out if we didn't pay up. Wait, bro, how did we used to survive? Chen Ahu opened his mouth but remained silent. Despite his huge build, my question made him look genuinely hurt. He looked nothing like a powerful underworld boss anymore. He looked more like a broke beggar on the street. Seeing this, I finally understood. Even a hero can be defeated by an empty wallet. After pacing around the room, I suddenly slapped my forehead. The body's original owner had some status in the mighty Tiger Gang. Surely he must have saved up some money, right? I remembered that he had a bunch of bank cards. Just as I expected, the second I opened my wallet, a whole pile of bank cards spilled out. I grabbed my phone and checked them one by one. 40 fen, 80 fen, 10 fen, not counting the credit cards that were already maxed out. The 3 remaining cards had only 1.3 wen combined. I stared at a balance that couldn't even cover a cab ride. I had no choice but to believe what Xiao Wanbai had said. I really was living meal to meal. I cursed, but there was nothing I could do. I searched through my memories for ages. All I remembered was winning 8 wen from the system after transmigrating. With the loose change, I had exactly 9.5 wen for the pancake. I decided to pay Xiao Wanbai back first. Without hesitating, I pulled out my phone and opened WeChat. Before I could even figure out what was happening, my entire balance had been deducted. Only one notification remained on my phone. You're taking my last 8 wan too? Now I'm completely screwed. Brother Tiger witnessed the entire tragedy from the side. He seemed to make a difficult decision. He shoved his right hand down his pants and started feeling around. I nearly jumped out of my skin. I looked around, but the other guys seemed completely used to it. They were even staring eagerly at Brother Tiger. Wait, are the mighty Tiger guys really this open-minded? I forced myself to walk up to him. Brother Tiger, I know you're young and have certain needs, but all your guys are watching. As their boss, shouldn't you watch your image a little? What image? I'm not gonna lie to you. We're dirt poor. I sewed a pocket into my underwear. That's where I keep the money. With that, Chen Ahu reached in and pulled hard. He finally yanked out 2 bills with a very suspicious smell. This 200 wen is the mighty Tiger Gang's emergency fund. I know you need it for something important. Take it. After finally preparing myself mentally, I reached out to take the money, but it wouldn't budge. Then Chen Ahu said tearfully, "Bye, please spend it carefully." Looking at the 200 wen in my hand, I was completely confused. As I remembered it, the mighty Tiger Gang controlled plenty of territory. Even the body's original owner had more than a dozen men. He even controlled an entire street. So what happened to the protection money you collect? Protection money? This is a modern society. Who dare collect that? Then don't we have any way to make money? Of course we do. The guys take daily labor jobs every day. If we weren't discussing your funeral today, we could have made a lot more. Chen Ahu stood before me with a dragon tattoo across his shoulder. He looked incredibly intimidating. So the so-called mighty Tiger Gang didn't collect protection money. They didn't break the law either. Instead, they did day labor like some shady business. Brother Bai really is generous. Not long ago you borrowed 10,000 wan from an online lender. Then you treated all of us to a huge meal. I pointed at myself in disbelief. What did you say? I borrowed 10,000 yuan online? My world collapsed. It was over. Everything was over.